If he wanted to shame Peter, what direction would he point? Backward. Would he point? Backward. Backward. But what does he do? He points forward. Do you love me, Peter? Yeah, I know you do. Then let's feed my sheep. Do you love me, Peter? Yeah, I know you do, man. So let's go. Let's move on and feed my sheep. Do you love me, Peter? Yeah, I know you do. So let's move on. Let's feed my sheep. I think what Jesus is doing here is he's saving Peter's life. If Jesus did not recreate this moment of dislocation, then every time a rooster crowed in the morning, it would have been a clarion call to Peter. You're a loser. You're the one who betrayed him. You're the one that walked away. You're the one. And he would have felt that shame, and it would have dominated his present and colored his future. I think Jesus recreates the moment of his greatest wound, not to hurt Peter, but to heal him, and he'll do the same with you. When God begins to move in your life, he will fly forward the hands of grace. The relationship is still open, and yet I promise you, as he draws you near, he will say, we have to deal with this, and he will take you to the moment of your greatest wounds. But Jesus will not put his hands on your wounds to hurt you. He will do it in order to heal you. When I broke my leg, it was my femur, and it was severely disconnected. And I remember as I sat in the hospital bed, my doctor came in and said, this little hospital can't handle that severe of a break. We got to take you downtown, but you're not stable enough to put you in an ambulance and move you. I'm going to have to partially set the bone myself. And I said, are you going to knock me out? And he said, no. I said, is this going to hurt? And he said, yes. And I remember as he said that, nurses began to file in and hold my body down. I was like, what is going on? And my doctor, who was a very large man, tucked my foot under his arm, jumped backwards, and then hit my leg. Which was interesting because you think you'd scream, you know? But it was so painful that I just went, huh? And started sweating profusely. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't say, the leg? Really? You could have hit my shoulder, slapped me on the hand, hit me in the head, man. Why'd you have to hit the leg, right? I knew he put his hand there, not to hurt me, but to heal me. And God's gonna do the same thing. As you draw near to God, he's gonna look at that part of your life, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a statement your dad said to you long ago that you have absorbed and believed in the deepest part of you. That's you. Maybe it's the approval you never got from me. Maybe it's that thing you did that you don't want to repeat to anybody else, not even to yourself, but the shame of it haunts you. Some of you, the sins of the past completely determine the way you walk into a room like this, whether or not you make eye contact with us, how you talk, how you speak, what kind of work you do, and how you go about it. Some of us are so dominated by the wounds of the past. They are dominating our present and determining our future. And Jesus wants more than that for you. And so he will take you to this place of wounding, not to shame you, but to take the shame out. Not to relive the pain that you believe in. You see? So he comes to Peter and says, we have to deal with this. Do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. I know, so let's move on. Peter, do you love me? Yes, I know you do, so let's move on. Peter, do you love me? Yes, I know you do, so let's move on. Don't let the failures of the past determine your future, Peter. Let's move on. Let's deal with the wound, and some of you need to deal with it, and that will be a process. It'll be moments like this, sitting around a fire with trusted people that you confess the darkness to, that understand you and want more for you. Some of you, it'll be with a counselor. Some of you with dear friends. Some of you, it'll be even tonight as you confess your heart to God, but you sit around fires like this to deal with the pain, and then we rise and move on. How can Jesus be so gracious to Peter when he denied even knowing him? It's because Jesus didn't dismiss Peter's sin. He paid for it. Jesus can be gracious here because this happened after this. What is this? The death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. He looked at him and said, I know what you did, Peter, and I paid for it. I know what you were a part of, and I buried it, Peter. I know what was dominating your life, and I put it in a grave, Peter. And I'm rising telling you, I've forgiven it, and I'm calling you to move on. And it's the same thing he can do for you and for me if you trust him. If you trust him.